Hi, I'm here with my mom and we're making a foreclosure video, a documentary that I'm working on to focus attention on the elderly and how they're being taken advantage of from big banks. This documentary will focus on Bank of America and the Washington State Credit Union. Hi, Mom, Mrs. M. We just want to kind of briefly go over some of the problems that you're facing with the Bank of America. Now, is it correct that you were with a Countrywide previous to Bank of America and they tried to run a swindle on you? I don't know if you recall this because of the dementia, that you were going to have a refinance and they tried to give you an adjustable rate mortgage. And then I went in there. It was a woman named Mary, and she had you appraised, and she had sent you the paperwork for you to sign, and your mortgage was going to go up to like $2,000 a month, but you didn't know how to read the paperwork. But I read it because I worked in mortgage before, and we went down to Mary and had a little talk with her at Countrywide, and she admitted that yes, indeed, your mortgage was adjustable rate that she had, set up for you, and that you were going to have to pay an increased mortgage within a couple of months, and the interest rate was going to go up. So we had to cancel that mortgage, and we lost $500 on that appraisal. And I had to help you out with that, and we still had to pay for it. I don't know if you remember, that was a couple of years ago, but just after that, Countrywide got in a lot of trouble for taking advantage of people, and then they got bought out by the Bank of America, which that's who you're with now. And the Bank of America, they're just as bad as Countrywide because they jacked up your mortgage really high, which you can't even afford. And you've been working with them for now, what, a year, giving them paperwork, and they haven't.
Trying to talk to someone and get an appointment is impossible. I never ever experienced anything like that.
So what happens is they tell you to submit, your income and all the information, and then you do that, and then nobody calls you. And didn't they say they were going to be able to help you?
Mm-hmm.
And the woman named Jennifer you were working with, who works out of a satellite office in the Matrix, and she just doesn't, answer her phone. What's her phone number? You could call her, and she won't return your phone calls within 24 hours. She has a recording, and she doesn't even have any requirements to phone people, to work with them personally, in person. So she was working on your modification loan for over a year, and then she just kind of dumped it off and didn't call you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you went down to the Bank of America and you asked for help, but they all say nobody works there that can handle in that office, in any of the offices that handle mortgages. They don't even know who Jennifer is. It took about 3 weeks to find out who she is because she won't even give her last name. And then we finally tracked her down with a woman, I think her name was Sharon, a supervisor from the Bank of America. And what did she say? That she left a message, and Jennifer still never called us.
Yeah.
And then she called to follow up, and then we got a letter saying that that they couldn't work with us, and that our house was going into default. Is that correct? So you never got a meeting. They just kind of
paid my payment
for 2 months. You're 2 months behind because the payment was outrageous, and you tried to. So you're a dependent of the military, and you still have been shuffled off into a swampland.
Deceased military.
Yeah, deceased military dependent.
Killed.
You're a widow. And this is how Bank of America does the widows of America, of the military who fight for our country. This is what happens to your wife when you die, soldiers. Their banks, the mortgage companies will take her house like vultures, like vampires. They won't try to work with her. They'll leave her out on the street because that's how much we value in America, widows and fallen soldiers. This is really a sad time in the 21st century that the millionaires and the billionaires are so thirsty for property and on land, and just consuming and gulping up everything they can get their hands on. So do you have Jennifer's number? You could read that off?
Yes, 1-800-669-6650.
Yeah, I notice a lot of sixes in that number, and it kind of indicates what you'll be going through when you call. It's like dealing with the devil himself, because they won't answer the phone, they won't return your calls, they won't set up meetings, they won't even try to work with you. There's no hope at Bank of America for widows of fallen soldiers. We're documenting this foreclosure every step of the way, from the packing of the boxes to the moving to where we're going to have to find places to live. I want this story to be televised, but it probably won't, because this is the secret. This is the deepest, darkest secret of America. How they love to take people's homes. And it's a joy for a bank executive. He probably sits at the end of the day and rings a bell. How many did we get? How many are homeless? They don't even try to work with you. So I'm just letting you guys know. If you think working with Bank of America and they start you off on some modification trail to Oz, into Wizard of Oz land, somewhere in Kansas City, who knows where you're going to end up? Because, honey, let me tell you, my mom has suffered a lot over this year, just trying and trying, and she hadn't even been behind in her payments when she first started trying to tell them that she needed help, and they wouldn't. And the bank lady even advised her not to pay the payments and said, oh yeah, it's going to be better, more chance you can get the remodification. And then when she, couldn't even pay him and couldn't just manage anymore, it just became too much, she still is in default. This is what they do. So this is a little bait and switch trick that they do. What they say is, hey, don't pay your payment, go ahead, and it makes it more chance of you getting qualified, even if you are current. So they want you, they encourage you not to be current, so they have more ability, more clause in the case where they can take you down easily. And they do this to the elderly because they know they don't know any better. My mom has, some conditions she's dealing with. She was a war veteran of World War II. She grew up in the Nazi era where, she stepped over dead bodies and had to grow up eating stuff she never dreamed of. And she, came to America hoping for some freedom, some choices, some ability to, support herself, be independent, since she's a widow. No, okay. They take everything. They're taking everything from people, okay? There's no hope, nothing left anymore. Not a call, not a resource, not any abilities for people who are elderly, disabled, with dementia, and who are widowed. No. They take those down way faster. Okay, this is our first video log of the foreclosure documentary. Stay tuned. We're going to call the number that they gave us for the dependents of the military, because we could pretty much guess that's just a number to nowhere. It's probably a recording. There's just going to be another runaround chase, bait and switch game, wild goose, we got you. So we're going to tape that when we call tomorrow. We'll call them in the morning, okay? Okay, I'm trying to help my mom through this stuff, but I'm going to tell you, it's such a maze. It's such a, they got this it's set up so deep. I can't even imagine how to get her out, how to get us out of this mess. And there's, we can make all the calls we want, but there's no hope, Mom. But, I have my hope in Jesus, because I know Jesus can help people and miracles can happen. So I don't put my hope in the Bank of America or the Washington State Credit Union. But I'm trying to hope in Jesus, and hope, there's a light in this tunnel somewhere. This has, I know, a lot to do with my $2 million lawsuit against DSHS and DOL, where I try to fight the state, and now everyone's, around me is suffering. They're taking down my family. They dismissed my case last week and didn't even give me a chance to fight in court. There's no justice in Washington State. No justice.